be the labor of an external IT consultant like the people at today's webinar. In the enterprise, you had the same tripartite structure, but you then also often would have the services or integration fee element layered in. So if an Accenture comes into someone like JP Morgan to design a DR plan, it's still going to be based around hardware, software, and labor to run the solution, but there's usually going to be very high costs associated with the implementation. I lay all that out just to contrast it to what disaster recovery looks like in a world where you're selling an online backup solution. So in this graphic here, your company's online backup cloud. We've still got the same elements of software, hardware, services, and support, but it's all now bundled into one SaaS solution delivered out of your cloud, which is actually sitting on our cloud, supported with everything being set and forget, purely software-based. So it really just becomes about deploying a small piece of software to every computer or every device that needs to be protected. And after that, backup and disaster recovery really takes care of itself. So the amount of labor involved in deploying a comprehensive DR solution has dropped dramatically. The hardware required has dropped to zero because it's all the hardware sitting in our 10 data centers globally, and it's now just a pure software solution. So we've got just two questions here from Thomas Dillon, and these are both technical questions. Thomas, if we can wait until the end to answer those, rather than derail the presentation to talk about those. And anybody with your questions throughout the session, what we'll try and do is answer questions relevant to the content right away, and then answer generic questions or other technical questions in the Q&A at the end. I hope that's okay, Thomas. So just contrasting tape backup versus online backup, and you can sub in disk backup on the left of this slide if that's most appropriate for your customers. And this is a great slide to send to your customers, so you can talk to your sales consultant here at SOS to get pieces of this presentation to use with your own customers. But just a quick contrast. So deployment with centrally architected backup solutions. Usually very heavy and intensive involvement from IT staff within a company or their IT consultant, you. With online backup, there is an IT staff required. Deployment becomes very simple. Coverage. With central and particularly tape-based backup solutions, the only thing that was covered was servers. So laptops very rarely included, branch offices very rarely included, distributed user data, data sitting wasn't being sent to a central file server, very rarely included in the disaster recovery regime. Whereas with online backup, all those things are covered. Backup, you've got this labor intensity we were talking about. Media has always got to be carried off-site, whereas with online backup, of its nature, it's off-site immediately. With tape backup, recovery is a lot difficult, expensive. It's a central IT project. You've got to restore an entire full backup and then incremental recoveries after that. It can often take 2 or 3 days to do a full recovery. Whereas with online backup, recovery is extraordinarily simple. As a user, you can log on, search all of your data in the cloud, and get your file back. You don't even need to call IT, let alone escalate out to a partner. So in terms of the ease of recovery, online backup is extraordinarily powerful. There's a quote in the IT industry: "A backup's no good if you can't recover from it." I mean, that's a point that really highlights the power of online backup over more traditional solutions, because with online backup, particularly with SOS's backup technology, recovery can literally be done at the click of a button, even from an iPhone. So there's a great anecdote we've got from a partner where IT administrator gets a phone call Sunday morning. He's on the golf course. Phone calls from the CEO of a company he supports, and the CEO is looking for a file that he created 4 years ago, was no longer on his PC. Usually that would be an impossible IT task, right? To be able to recover that file by Monday, just absolutely impossible. It would be days and days of doing restores from tapes, searching through the content, etc. Whereas with SOS, this guy literally pulls his iPhone out of his pocket, searches 5 terabytes and 5 years worth of data that he's got up in the SOS cloud, and finds the file and sends it to his CEO from the golf course. So it's a great anecdote, it's a great story, and it really highlights the power of recoverability within the SOS online backup technology. In terms of security, tape backup subject to failure, theft, and loss, generally not a secure solution at all. Online with SOS, you've got redundant backup data going to multiple data centers and fully encrypted using military-grade encryption. In terms of management, with central backup solutions, tape in particular, you've got very time-intensive management tasks associated with verifying recoverability and actually managing the deployment. Online backup, there is no management required. It's set and forget. You get alerts if there are problems. Tape backup, cost, expensive. Online backup, affordable. That's a little trite. Online backup can often be as much as a fifth of the cost of a tape backup solution for a customer. So when you're selling this through to your customers, the total cost of ownership for them can be as little as a fifth of what they're already paying for their existing backup solution. And then this last point is probably the most important point for everybody on the call, margin and revenue. When you sell tape backup solutions or disk-based backup solutions, you're making single digits. You're making extraordinarily thin margins on that hardware. It's once-off revenue on that hardware. With online backup, you're earning up to 60% margin. It's ongoing recurring revenue with no additional labor on your side associated with that revenue. So again, extremely high margin recurring revenue streams compared to single-digit margin on a once-off equipment purchase. So this bold point at the end, at the bottom of this slide, is really what we're all about and what we want to talk to you about, which is we want to convert backup from a major pain point for your customers and a major cost center for your business into a sales and a profit center for your business. We've got a question about whether or not you get a copy of the presentation. The answer to that is yes. There'll be a link sent out to you with a video of the webinar within 24 hours at the end of the webinar. And also, if you call in and talk to any of our partner specialists, they'll be able to give you this material and pieces of this material right away, help you build presentations to give to your clients, help you build marketing material. It's a big part of what we do. Okay, product and technology. So let's take a brief tour through the SOS product. I anticipate we'll get plenty of questions about the technology, and please engage. We've got some questions here that we'll answer at the end, but we'll continue to answer questions throughout the presentation that are relevant to the content. So SOS is fundamentally about more than just backup. It's a online backup, we really believe, is a cornerstone technology of this new cloud computing phenomenon that's going on in the IT industry. Our product's always been about three core things, not just backup, but protecting, which for us is backup and recovery, access, and sharing. So access, we've just talked a little bit about. The ability to access your data from a BlackBerry or an iPhone on the fly anywhere in the world, but also sharing, so the ability to then share that content with other business users. So that adopting an SOS's online backup platform, as you sell this through to your customers, it's about more than backup. Backup's not a particularly exciting sales approach, but online backup can be. So there are a lot more ways of pitching this solution than just a straight backup technology. We actually get a lot of demand on the basis of the remote access and sharing. On the access piece, my view on that is that there's no technology I have in my hands which allows me to sit here and search the 200 PCs of SOS online backup. I can't do it, and there's no technology from Microsoft or HP or IBM or anybody that lets me do that. But with SOS online backup, I can using my iPhone, I can search the content of all of the computers in this company, which is actually it's pretty profound. It's a completely new way of interacting with digital data in the cloud. So in terms of some detailed features of the system, the backup application itself has got built-in CDP, built-in continuous data protection with our Live Protect system, global access from anywhere through a web browser or through mobile devices, iPhones, Blackberries, Android, sharing with anybody from an email address. There's also sharing to a Facebook account, which is obviously a very consumer-centric feature. Rich media access and streaming, so content can be consumed straight from the cloud to whatever device you consume it from. You don't need to download an audio file to listen to it or download an image to look at it. You can just consume it straight from the cloud. A fully integrated local backup solution. This is important, I think, when deploying into a small business environment. So imagine you're selling Seth Shapiro online backup to your small business customers. Because the SOS technology's got local backup built into it, what you can then sell is a very comprehensive DR solution to your customer. So you can still set up local backup for large data sets or for very fast recovery, but then also the most important data can go off-site, or you can set it up so it's backed up to both destinations. So for really important content, you set up a local backup as well as an off-site backup for that content. So that's just integrated into the software. We've got built-in archiving, so we have partners who sell their online backup technology as an archiving solution to their customers. We retain every version of every file, so it's unlimited versioning, which is very powerful. And none of our competitors do this. So none of our competitors have the unlimited versioning. None of our competitors have the unlimited archiving, and both of which can become very powerful elements to your sale when you're selling this to your customers. Thomas Dillon asks, does the local storage count against the cloud storage size? Absolutely not, Thomas. So you could have terabytes and terabytes being backed up locally, but then only have a small data set being backed up to the cloud. So the local backup application is not limited in any way like that. So the technology supports unlimited devices. What that means is that if you see here in the top right-hand corner, it's a small screenshot, but this is the view that, obviously using our branded software, but this is the view you've got on recovery. So here you can see this particular account has 6 different PCs being backed up on it, whereas competitive solutions require you to have a different account for every PC, which becomes a nightmare where, in terms of centralized management. But SOS supports that. We've covered the continuous data protection, we've covered the global roaming access and the free integrated local backup. So we've got some questions here. Can we support QuickBooks backup? Yes, we can. Servers, absolutely. So file servers are probably one of the most common places that SOS Online Backup is deployed to protect file servers, but also email servers, database servers, workstations, laptops. Outlook PSTs are a top favorite file in terms of being protected on workstations and laptops and actual user PCs. Carlisle Ashcroft asked what partners we've got in Dallas. Carlisle, I'll have somebody get back to you about that. Off the top of my head, I don't know. We've got 1,000 partners in the United States. Will local backup create a clone or image file similar to Acronis? No, it's not. It's our own backup system, and it's not a bare metal recovery disk image. Keith Linden asked, what is an average amount of data does a consumer back up online? Keith, it varies, but we're seeing an average consumer in the 5 to 10 gigabyte range at the moment across our group. Just some other features I'd like to call people's attention to, particularly this powerful recovery module here in the middle. And by the way, these screenshots actually come straight from our website. So if you go to our website later on and look at the features section of the website, there's a very good all of these modules then click through to a lot of information about the different features. We've really tried to call out the most important features of the system on that subsite. So with the recovery system, you can see here it's based around a simple calendar metaphor. So the end user can do his recovery himself, and that's very important because no longer does a data loss event need to escalate to central IT, and that becomes a major cost saving for the small business and for your business as the partner. In terms of scheduling, it's very flexible scheduling. It can be scheduled daily, weekly, hourly, monthly. You can engage CDP, which is the continuous data protection. Physical media upload here on the left is a service where if you've got very large data sets, you can actually, the software will back up that data set to local media, like a hard drive that we will FedEx to you, and then you FedEx that back to us, and we upload the data to our data center. It's all fully encrypted, so there's no security issue. It uses exactly the same security it would if it shipped it over the WAN. But in the case of very large data sets, that's a very powerful feature. Unlimited versioning and archiving, I've touched on it. Again, these are very powerful in terms of selling through to the mid-market because what it enables you to do is position this solution as not just a backup solution, but an access solution, a document management solution, a regulatory compliance solution. So because we've got the built-in archiving and the built-in versioning coupled with our security system, our online backup